Oh man, that looks hard. Problem number 33 out of our textbook, 3.5, problem number 33. He said 500 all over 1 plus 25 times e to the 0.3 times x is equal to 200. And we're being asked to solve for x. Well, that's no fun. Well, we gotta somehow, someway algebraically get that e by itself. So the first thing to do is let's treat this like a proportion and cross multiply. So if I cross multiply, I'm going to take 500 and multiply it by 1, and I'm just going to get 500 on this side. Now over here, I'm not actually going to multiply it. I mean, I am, but I'm just going to write 200 times the quantity 1 plus 25 e to the 0.3x, like that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide both sides by 200. My whiteboard's acting a little goofy today. And so then these are going to cancel. And then on the next line, I'm going to get 500 over 2, which really reduces down to 5 over 2 is equal to 1 plus 25 e to the 0.3 times x. Does that make sense? You guys with me so far? So now the next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. Am I going too fast? Alright, good. So I'm going to subtract 1 from both sides. So I'm just going to subtract 1 here. Now remember that when I subtract 1, isn't that like the same as like saying minus 2 over 2? Right? Okay, that scares me a little bit. What's 2 over 2 reduced down to? 1. So when we subtract 1 on the right-hand side, we're going to subtract 2 over 2 because we want a common denominator. So what does that leave us with? 3 over 5, right? But what's 3 over 5 as a decimal? 0.6, right? Do it real quick on your calculator. Let's double check.
0.6.
0.6, let's do it. So if I say 3 divided by 5, whoops. Now I've got all this stuff I've got to get rid of. Right, so if I say 3 divided by 5, isn't that 0.6? Yep. So I'm going to say over here, all this stuff is going to be 0.6 is equal to 25 e to the 0.3x. What would be the next step? Yes? Yes?
How did you get 5 on the bottom?
This is that too.
Oh, what's 5 minus 2? 3. Well, yeah, how did I get 5 on the bottom? What am I doing? I'm getting ahead of myself. This is actually 3 over 2, right? So, good catch. I'm glad you caught it. Well, I got my notes. It ends up being 0.6. I got my notes and I skipped a step. So anyways, this ends up being 1.5 then, right? So now if I divide by 25 on both sides, what's 1.5 divided by 25?
0.06.
0.06, okay, so that's where it came from. So if I say 1.5 divided by, whoops, wrong button, 1.5 divided by 25, that's where the 0.06 came from. So Mr. Adams in his head kind of skipped a step. So that's 0.06, and that's equal to e to the 0.3 times x. Now from that point, if I take the natural log of both sides, so if I say the natural log of 0.06, and then I take is equal to the natural log of e to the 0.3x, because the natural log and e are inverse functions of one another, they cancel each other out. So on my right hand side, I get to bring this down, kind of, right? I get big 3.3x is equal to the natural log of 0.06, and then I divide both sides by 0.3. Okay, that's a 3 there. My whiteboard, my smart board's acting all goofy today. I just calibrated it too, which is odd. So now let's do that in the calculator. So these cancel, and I get x equals the natural log of 0.06 divided by 0.3. So on my calculator, I'm going to hit the natural log of 0.06 divided by 0.3, and I get negative 9.37. Yeah, 8. So I've got negative 9.378? Now, how could I verify that real quick on the calculator? I could plug the original equation in. I could plug that in for x, right? I could plug all this stuff in. And I should get 200 if it's right. Is that right? So if I go into my calculator, what was the top number, 500? Divided by 1 plus 25 times e raised to the 0.3 times, I'm going to put a little times here. And you know what I forgot? If we're going to raise that whole power, I need to put that in parentheses. So I'm going to say 0.3 times negative 9.378, like that. Yes. Oh yeah, we got to put the division symbol. I hit it on the thing, but it didn't show up. Wow, that's 2 for 2. You're doing a great job today. We should give you some extra credit points. All right. Oh, I don't want to retype all that stuff. How am I going to insert a division symbol? Does anybody know how to do that on your calculator?
Second insert.
Yeah, second delete, which is an insert. So if I hit second delete, now if I hit divide, oh man, that's awesome. So now I'm going to hit my cursor all the way to the end. And hopefully when we hit enter, 20 minutes from now, it will equal 200. Uh-oh, it's still going. See how, oh man. Yeah, that's close enough. Because we rounded the decimals, right? Our original answer was like all this stuff, right? So, because I lopped this off, that's why it's not quite 200. But we could look at that, right? Any questions?